Hi, everybody. This is Callan, and you've just stumbled onto the very first episode of the Internet Marketing and Entrepreneurship Podcast. We're the podcast that helps internet marketers and entrepreneurs learn the skills that pay the bills. On tonight's very first pilot episode, we're going to talk a little bit about why we started the podcast. You're going to hear some of my backstory, and then we're going to start providing you value right away. You're going to hear about the age-old adage in the sales game that's made you frustrated with prospecting, and then we're going to flip the script. Stay tuned. First and foremost, the Internet Marketing and Entrepreneurship Podcast is dedicated toward helping entrepreneurs and internet marketers build the skills that are required to make a living free from employment for somebody else. Some of us just aren't meant for working underneath another person. We need to do our own thing and blaze our own way, and we've got that spirit in us, but maybe don't quite have everything required to be 100% successful or be 100% all in. There's a skill gap between the training that we've received, whether it's in a previous sales job or marketing job, and what's necessary to handle everything from A to Z 100% from end to end. Or maybe you've had some success in internet marketing and entrepreneurship, and you're looking to optimize and tweak and get better. As you start establishing some success, it's natural to want to perpetuate that and roll it forward. And that's all about what this podcast or vlog, or if you're reading the article, it's all about what these things are meant to do. So a little bit about me. I'm a husband, a father, and I've been in sales most of my life. I've had the entrepreneurship spirit. Even in grade school, I was trying to sell things, but I've officially had jobs in sales since I've left high school. Most of my adult life, until I made some changes. I was getting frustrated with the way that I was choosing to sell, being a way that wasn't being taught. Right? I believe in consultative selling. I do not believe in the old way of selling, where you give people the super hard close and lean in pressure, where it's you versus the customer, and as much as you can get them to take. I've been always a proponent of matching people up with things that they actually need and want, uncovering problems, solving things for people, and genuinely being a good person. There's a lot of, I guess, a good picture of what I have fought my whole life against in the sales arena is that snake oil salesman, the person who wants to sell ice to an Eskimo. I don't want to sell ice to an Eskimo because the Eskimos don't need ice. They've got it everywhere. I would much rather sell something that would solve a problem that having that ice makes for them, whether it's a saw so they can cut that ice or learn to use it, or maybe a way to melt the ice to have a good steady flow of clean water. I would matching people up with what they need is something that's been a passion of mine in sales for a long time, and it's very hard to combat people that'll come at a client or a customer with misinformation, or tell them everything that they want to hear as long as they sign their name on the line or they take out their credit card or their wallet. And those people somehow go home and sleep happy at night, and I can't do it. I never could bring myself to do it when I was actively in the sales arena as a full-time job, and I'm not going to bring myself to do it now. There's a line, and if you're on the same side of the line that I'm in, you're in the right place, because we're here to figure this out together. So the very first thing that I want to talk about in the podcast is prospecting. When I did inside sales, we were expected to go through the customer list and just call people and upsell them. When I was in outside sales, we were calling and trying to get the business owner on the phone, schedule appointments. I was selling insurance at the time. I mean, man, it takes a special person to just hear no after no after no. Have a hard time setting those appointments. You're not even asking for money. You're just asking for an appointment. Very frustrating. Um, there's an adage in the sales and prospecting game that and I don't know how many times that I've heard it, but how many times have you heard, you know, from a sales manager? Do you think you could sell out of 100 calls? Or if you made 100 appointments, do you think or 100 phone calls, do you think you could make one appointment? Um, or or things that are trying to be motivational but really aren't, like you have to hear 100 no's before you hear a yes. Well, that's fine and well after you made your 10th call and you make a sale, you feel pretty good. But what about the times that you get to 50 or 70, or now you've heard no 99 times in a row and you're on number 100? Humans just aren't wired to be rejected constantly like that. It's not natural. It's frustrating and demotivating. By the time I get to a prospect that could have said yes, if number 100 was going to be a yes after hearing no 99 times and putting forth all my effort, I'm completely drained. There's not any way possible I could put forth my best effort after hearing no 99 times in a row. My mindset just isn't right. I just end up feeling like a failure. And I'm sure a lot of you can identify with that feeling of offer, and being told no, no, no. And then at the end of the day, you're just like, I'm just never going to sell anything. It's really easy to fall into an entire slump, even if you're a successful salesperson, when you get those prospecting strings where you go almost 100 in a row before you start hearing a no. And I'm sure there's some of you watching right now that are like, geez, Callan, I never hear 100 no's. You must just absolutely suck at this. And you know what? In the traditional sense, you're right. I absolutely do. Because humans aren't meant to hear no that many times in a row. Um, after the 20th call, I mean, really, I can feel myself starting to lose the motivation, lose the steam, and have to psych yourself up a little bit to make that next phone call or to knock on the next door, or to approach the next person coming into a store. Um, and you go into it with the mindset that you're already going to be shot down before you ever pick up the phone or walk up to the house, or come out from behind the counter. And then you start shortcutting things, right? How many times have you seen an inside salesperson just yell from 10, 20 feet away, "Hey, how's it going today? You looking for anything?" I mean, we all know that that's the wrong way to approach somebody, but it happens every single day, and a lot of it has to do with demotivation. It has to do with using old, outdated techniques in the new consultative selling philosophy. The companies have this facade that they like to put on, that they want you to be a consultative salesperson, but they also want you to drive sales, and they tell you need to be doing this and this and this, and when you do these things, um, you know every customer is supposed to have a service plan or whatever the additional is there. But if the salesperson doesn't really feel it's a good fit for the customer, I mean, you're a snake oil salesman. If you can't honestly get behind what you're selling to your customer, you don't belong selling it. It's not a good fit for them. They're going to want to bring it back. There's going to be chargebacks. That's not good for anybody. And I don't want to sell something to a customer and they get to a point where they're like, "Man, you really sold me on that warranty and I never used it, and I feel like you just swindled me out of a bunch of money." I don't want people to feel that way when I sell to them. So what I'm here to tell you is that you absolutely don't want to focus on the numbers game. It's the wrong process to be looking at, right? So you focus on the numbers game. The only thing that it does is it makes you take that no and move on to the next prospect, because you're told if you make 100 calls, you get a sale. So the faster you can make 100 calls, the faster you start making a sale, right? Except it doesn't work that way. You don't put your best effort in. You don't put everything forward. You're not just there to make your 100 calls and go home. You need to focus on giving your prospects value, right? That call isn't a no to your service or your product. That call is that they're not interested in the way you presented it. That call could be that they're not interested right now. That call might be that absolutely yes, you know what? I was looking for something just like this. Sign me up. But you don't know what that outcome is going to be, and you're not even remotely on their radar, even if they're in there looking for that exact service until you call. Chances are pretty good they don't know your service, your product. They don't know you're out there. They're not going to just randomly know to call you up on the phone, right? So this prospecting is a marketing thing, every bit like an advertisement. So even if they say no, without you're putting your best foot forward, not for the sale, you're putting it forward to build value, right? You're letting them know you're here. You're letting them know what the service is, and that you understand that they maybe aren't ready right now, or they might never be ready, but they might know somebody who is, and you make that impression on them of being a good, honest salesperson, somebody that they can trust, right? People don't buy from somebody that they don't know, like, and trust. So you're reaching out, you're building a relationship, and you're getting to know them. So we need to focus on getting value to our prospects just to get on their radar before they tell you no. Um, Make sure they hear a good, solid pitch. Say, I realize that you're not interested in this product, or you're not interested in this product right now, but you might know somebody who may be, and I'm not trying to sell you this product anymore. I just want you to understand what I do, and if I can give you a little bit of value that that you can take on to whatever it is that you do, or a friend of yours, or something, that fulfills my day. And people stop and they go, hey, you know what? Maybe this guy is onto something. Let's just hear what he has to say, because he's being nice, right? He's not being pushy. He's not shoving it down my throat. He said, hey, I know you're not going to buy, but let me finish my pitch. That's the least I could do. You'd be surprised how many people will just let you finish the pitch, finish presenting the product, and then don't try to hard close them, right? Don't ask for the close. Don't try to lead them into sales techniques where you ask them questions that you know the answer to gain agreement. So they keep saying yes and yes and yes and yes. There's a time and a place for those techniques, but it's certainly not when somebody's already put up resistance, right? We need to back that resistance off. They're saying, whoa, buddy, I don't know you. I don't trust you. I don't even know if I like you. So back up that process and build that trust, build that like, and build value for them, right? So what I really want you to do tonight is to write down a list of ways that you can build value for prospects, not for clients. Building value for clients is easy, right? Because what you should be doing is solving problems, and there's a lot of value in solving those problems. So you under-promise that value and you over-deliver, and you're pretty much good. What I want you to do is for prospects, write down how you can build value to your prospects without asking for anything in return, right? You're just throwing good out into the universe just for the sake of doing something nice and being good. You're not expecting that because you've done this, sales are going to come. Because you've done this, they're going to say, whoa, you know what? Maybe I am interested in this now that you've finished. Build value. Write down that list. Keep going until you have 30 different ways to build up the value. Once you've done that, every single morning, I want you to pick one and concentrate on building that value for your prospects, right? So that's your goal for the day. Instead of driving and prospecting to build sales, drive and prospect to find people to build value for free without expecting anything in return. And I guarantee it's going to start changing your game. Thanks for joining me on the first episode. I look forward to seeing you guys come back, and I hope you can join me on this journey of entrepreneurship, whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur, internet marketer, or you're somebody that's just getting started, or you think you might be interested in it. You're going to find that we have a different take on the way we do things around here, and I'd love to have you guys along for the journey. So be looking down below in the show notes on the podcast or the video description on YouTube. There will be links to the other type of media. If you're on the podcast, there's going to be links to the vlog as well as the article if you're on the podcast. or sorry, the vlog. There's going to be links to the podcast and the article. On the article, both the podcast and the vlog. I want you guys to be able to consume this material in the easiest possible way for you to do it. If you got to commute to work, it's really easy to throw on an audio format. If you're a person who likes to be more visual, there's going to be some episodes in the future where we're going to have kind of a download companion that goes along with some of the episodes to take a look at. I'm a visual person. I like to learn a couple of different ways. So if you watch the video and I realize that this video this time is a little bit boring, just staring at me talking and waving my hands around, because that's just how I am. I talk with my hands. If you don't want to see my hands, download the podcast. Then you can just listen to me. But either way, you're gonna get the content. Everything's gonna come out in the show notes. There'll be a link to an article where you'll be able to go and read a transcript, or maybe a summation, because sometimes they tend to carry on for no reason. But go ahead and look for those things, and then where it's right, you're going to find step by step in some of the things that we learn and teach. You're going to find maybe links to videos where they're more relevant, where they might break down things a little bit further that we don't have enough time to narrow down for in such a small segment. I don't want people to have to sit through things that they maybe already know how to do. If we talk about Facebook ads, I'm going to go over the general process of doing a Facebook ad. But I might do that in a separate video, so people who already know how to do the ads don't have to sit through something. I want everybody to get value out of it, no matter beginner or senior. So thanks for sticking with me and listening to me ramble on. I'm going to end the episode here, but I hope to see you guys soon. So go ahead and hit those like buttons, subscribe buttons, share it with your friends. Don't forget to join the group, which is also down below in the description and show notes. And hey, other people that are entrepreneurs, internet marketers, or salespeople that are interested in upping their game and getting better at what they do, send them on this way and see if we can build value for them too. Have a great day.